Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series, and it has been a minute since I read this book, but I really wanted to review it because I've seen some mixed reviews on it. Now, I will just tell you at the outset, I really liked this book, and other people did not like this book. But let me explain to you why I am a Spooksville the Howling Ghost defender. I really loved this book, actually. So let's talk about it. So this was a buddy read that I did with Zach over at Shadyside Library, and unfortunately Zach did not really like it, and that's okay. Everyone has their own opinions. Everyone has their own things that they like or dislike, and that's totally fine. I just happen to really like this book. Now, let me set the stage for you. Spooksville book number 1. That was called The Secret Path. And The Secret Path, I will admit, it was not very good in the beginning, in my opinion. It kind of meandered a bit, and then in the last, maybe 50 or so pages, it kind of picked up and got really interesting. And I was a little nervous going into book 2 because I thought, well, I really liked the ending of The Secret Path, but I'm not sure what I'll think about The Howling Ghost book number 2. Will I like this book? Will I dislike this book? What am I going to think about it? And I'm glad to say I really liked this book. Now, it was Spongy who mentioned that book number 1 is kind of like a pilot episode for the Spooksville book series by Christopher Pike. And I think that's a brilliant way to talk about that book. It really is like a pilot episode. It's like the beginning of everything that's happening. And then book number 2 comes along. And I think one of the things that's interesting to me about this time period is sometimes you had TV shows at the time that had a pilot episode and then kind of had like a creature feature of the week or like a monster of the week kind of thing. And so like Smallville did this all the time, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, those kinds of shows. So I thought, okay, Spooksville could be kind of like that. It's not an anthology series like Goosebumps was, which I think was really important for this series. I think if this series was an anthology series in the same way that Goosebumps was, it kind of would have really seemed like a Goosebumps ripoff. And instead, because Spooksville is different and has a building story and the same characters that are in the same town, I think that it allows it to be something just totally different than Goosebumps, which I think is a good thing. So in this book, you have our main characters who they are, back from going through the secret path thing in the first book, and now they're in town and summertime is still going here, but there is a new kid who's moved to Spooksville, and her name is Cindy, and she has a little brother. Now, Cindy's little brother and her are playing by this lighthouse on the cover when all of a sudden there is a howling noise and her little brother is taken by a ghost. So Cindy, she is not sure what to do, and Sally and Adam and Watch come to the rescue of Cindy, and Cindy and Adam kind of start having a little, maybe romance. That was kind of an interesting thing to me, and Sally is, very jealous of Cindy, and that's kind of played off a little weird in my opinion. It's kind of like that thing where it's there can only be one main girl and not two, and there can't be friends because they both are in love with the main character. So I kind of didn't love that much, but I thought that Cindy as a character was a really great addition to the story. And as they are unraveling the mystery of what has happened to Cindy's little brother, there's a lot of great stuff revealed about the town, about this lighthouse that is so creepy. There is also one scene where they go scuba diving underwater. Adam and Watch do into this abandoned pirate ship kind of thing. And it is so creepy and I loved it. So point number 1, in my opinion, of why I liked this book. The atmosphere. I love a good sea ghost kind of story where there's a lighthouse and there's old, shipmates who are ghosts now because they're dead and they crashed in a storm and the lighthouse didn't make it and all these sorts of things. So I really love those kinds of stories. So I think the setting here nailed it. It was so creepy to me. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. There's also some really interesting, intense action scenes in this book where they're trying to get across bridges and they're climbing up inside the lighthouse. And I thought, oh, this is actually pretty interesting. And I think the final battle with the ghost was really great. And I also will say there was a plot twist. Now, if you have watched my channel for any length of time, you know I love plot twists. Plot twists are one of my favorite things in a book. If a book can surprise me and do something that makes me gasp out loud because I didn't see it coming, I love that. I love that so much when an author does that, because they've misdirected you a little over here and dropped the clues over there, especially when it's a tightly done plot twist. Sometimes there are plot twists that are like, yeah, we all saw that coming and we all knew that's where you were going and that's what you were doing, so not a plot twist. But I love it when an author will trickle in little tiny things ahead of time and then get you to the plot twist, and then you realize, oh, you laid the breadcrumbs. You had it all there for us and we just didn't piece it together. That is the best kind of plot twist because it's carefully done. You can see how the author was putting it together. I love that kind of plot twist. And in my opinion, this book had one of those kinds of plot twists. Now, I think some people might have been able to guess some of the things about this book. I think that's possible. I just went into this thinking, I have no idea where it's going. Let's just find out where it goes. And I really enjoyed it. I do, like I said, I do get a little annoyed about Sally and Cindy's rivalry over Adam. It was just kind of annoying in my opinion. I thought, why are we doing this? But this is the 90s when that happened a lot in books and movies and television shows. And I think fortunately nowadays we've moved past that, hopefully. I know it still crops up in fiction here and there, but I hope we've moved past that kind of just silliness. It just comes across as a little bit grating and annoying because you're thinking, why are you two just get along and be friends? And I think that is the direction I hope that Cindy and Sally end up going, because I think Cindy is a character who's here to stay. People have talked about how Cindy's introduction is in this book, and that's really important for later. So I really liked that. Now, there's one other thing that I wish I could talk about, and I'm going to try and do it vaguely because this is a spoiler-free review. But I think there's something, even though this is a creature feature of the week, there's something very interesting going on in the background of this book that I think elevates it. This book is all about things coming back and things returning and things kind of washing up back where they came from. And I think that was such an interesting thing to lay the groundwork for, because it gets me going on some theories about what's going on in the Spooksville series, because I have a feeling there is something that each person in this town has come back to this town. So I'm not going to say anything else about it because I don't want to give any spoilers, but even though this was like a creature of the week kind of episode, I think it was really well done. And like I said, the ending battle was really great in my opinion. I really loved it. It seemed really scary, really intense. There was a moment of, how are we going to get out of this? There's a great moment where it's like, we have to get this thing to these people in order to stop this. And I love that kind of setup. This just hit all the spots for me. I think it was really great in my opinion. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give The Howling Ghost a 4 out of 5 stars because it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think, like I said, the Sally Cindy rivalry stuff really annoys me quite a bit. It was very, very annoying. I was kind of over it at the very beginning of it. But other than that, this was a fun entry in the series. I actually wish it had been a tiny bit longer. I was thinking that the whole time. I thought, oh, I wish this had been just a few, maybe 30 pages longer, because I would have loved to explore the sunken ship some more, do some more spooky stuff with the ghost. I think there's a lot that could have been done, but I'll take what we got because this was still really great in my opinion. So I'm excited to read book number 3. Now, I don't have book 3. I have book 4, 5, and 6, but I gotta find book number 3 first before I can obviously get to those, because these books do build on each other. So I don't think this is a series you can read out of order. I think you've got to read it in order, book to book to book. So I'm on the hunt for book number 3. Hopefully I find it soon. And until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye!